Hi.
Hey everyone, how are you? Hey Addie, are
Good.
you on the Let me know if you can use the chat. I'm so glad to see you, Larissa.
Yeah,
Um,
we figured this thing out. Thank God for
oh my
VPN.
goodness. Yeah. So I'm just going to share my screen here and get started because I think some folks are rolling in here. Um, Hey, hi everyone. If you're just joining the webinar, feel free to put your name in the chat so we know you're able to hear and see us okay. Just make sure nobody's having any technical glitches. Oh, I see Addie's joining the chat. And I think we've got Kaylee and Sarush on the line. Hi, Kaylee and Sarush. And guys, if you don't mind just letting we've had a couple technical glitches this morning. So just let us know if you can just put a note in the chat if you can see me and hear me okay. So if oh, okay. Looks like the Q&A is working. Is the chat working? Maybe if somebody wants to try the chat. If not, we can just use the Q&A. Oh, okay. Oh, looks like Kaylee's on the chat, but oh, okay. Chat is disabled. These are things that we tested and for some reason not working. Okay, let me see if I can enable it quick here. Oh, okay. I think I have enabling chat for everyone. Maybe if you want to change that. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I definitely prefer the chat versus the Q&A. It's a lot more user-friendly. So perfect. And let me know if you can see my screen okay as well. Okay, awesome. Okay, really great to connect with everyone this morning. And I'm really excited to share with you about CDAP. CDAP is the Canadian Digital Adoption Program. And I also wanted to present a couple members of our team on the line. Addie is on the chat as our moderator, and Larissa is my co-presenter today. And she's our key CDAP specialist and CDAP report writer, and our account manager here, one of our account managers here at Napkin Marketing. So we're really excited to share with you this about this grant and great program for Canadian businesses from our government. I'll get started because I didn't want to miss our start time here. I think we're 5 minutes in. And Addie and Larissa, feel free to keep me on track with the agenda so that we stay on time. But maybe as we're getting started here today, if you guys want to share what business you're in and what brought you to the webinar today, feel free to post in the chat as we go. And since we're a small group, we can just start with do Q&A as well as we go. So a little bit about what we're going to be sharing with you today, just telling you if you're new to napkin marketing, a little bit about napkin and our role as a CDAP advisor. We're going to be going over what is the CDAP grant, an overview of the different grant streams that are available, how much funding money your business can actually qualify and what can the money be used for, and diving a little deep into what is a digital technology adoption plan. That is the main requirement for getting the bigger grant, the $15,000 grant, and what's included with that, what we included as in our advisory role. And as well as some of the bonuses you can get if you go into this program, if you participate in the CDAP program as a business. You also, like, the CDAP's not the end of the story. So once you get the $15,000 grant or the $2,400 grant, you can qualify with the $15,000 grant for an interest-free loan from the Business Development Bank of Canada, which is a 5-year interest-free loan from up to $100,000, depending on what revenue your business is at. You can also qualify for wage subsidies from the government, which means you can hire, usually it's they call it a youth, which it qualifies as 18 to 30 years old or a recent grad to work in your business, helping with marketing or helping with technology tasks. And you can actually qualify for a wage subsidy of up to $7,300. And it really is real. I've gotten these wage subsidies as well for team members we've hired, and it's a really great support system for entrepreneurs and businesses here in Canada. So we'll be sharing all about that and how it works and the steps to qualify for the grant. So without further ado, I'll keep going here. Just a little bit about us as a team here at Napkin Marketing. 3 of us are on the line here, but we're actually a comprehensive team of digital marketing specialists and support services. So myself, Addie, and Larissa are kind of the client-facing account managers and director, but we've got a whole team of specialists and creative people behind us. Everything from graphic designers to website developers, programmers, back-end and front-end programmers. So we're able to help with basically every aspect of your digital marketing and website, and automating your business as well. We also have an adjunct team of IT specialists. So basically the whole idea of the digital adoption plan is upgrading your business's digital marketing, technology, automation. So there's a lot of consultants out there now offering to be your CDAP advisor, and they basically generate a report for you. But we're able to the difference of working with us is we have a team to actually implement any recommendations in the report. And we have the experience so that we've worked with hundreds of businesses, if not, in my experience, thousands of businesses. So we're able to kind of determine what are the best marketing recommendations to give you, what website updates you might need, and what other technology upgrades or automations you can take advantage of. So we write a report that's really customized and relevant for your business. And then we actually have the folks, the hands-on, who can help take your marketing to the next level, help you with video marketing, email marketing, social media, and anything you might need to kind of get your business to the next level. And with CDAP, you can actually get the financing to cover it. So this is myself and Larissa who you'll meet here, and just some of the services we offer that I mentioned, everything from web design to search engine optimization and email marketing, all the way to SEO. We also specialize in law firm marketing. And I'll tell you a little bit about our system later, and it's kind of a full circle marketing approach. So we're also, just so you know, kind of our qualifications, we did have to meet some high standards to be a CDAP partner. So we do specialize in Google advertising. We're a Google Ads partner, as well as a MailChimp partner with specialty on the email marketing side. And FormStack, you may not have heard of, but it's a digital forms provider. So we're their certified partner. And we also help with the Trainual platform, which if you're looking at putting all your SOPs and training materials for your team online, documenting all your processes, we're able to help with that. And that puts us in a good stead to be a CDAP partner as well, because we can basically help you implement all these systems to make your business run more efficiently. So that's a little bit about Napkin. Now getting into the CDAP program. So what is CDAP? Stands for the Canadian Digital Adoption Program or Plan. We kind of use that interchangeably, and it's funded by the division of the government called the ISCD, Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada. It's a 1.4 million federal fund, and the goal is really to provide business owners with the financing, the tools, and the resources so they can adopt things like e-commerce, so you can implement payment systems. So you can, a lot of you, if you've worked with me, we have a scheduler page on our website so people can schedule an appointment with me online. So implementing something like that, like a booking page like that on your website, upgrading your SEO. I focus a lot on the digital marketing side, but there's tons of things that are covered under CDAP, such as if you wanted to upgrade your CRM system, you wanted to implement Salesforce, or you wanted to implement, if you're a law firm, you want to implement practice management software or a customer relationship software. If you wanted to add, upgrade your phone system and go to a cloud-based phone service provider like Grasshopper, that kind of stuff. Upgrade your cybersecurity for your website, or even upgrade your hardware, the laptops you provide to your employees or within your office. All of that can be covered under CDAP, the subsequent financing. So I like to kind of share with clients, especially with the bigger CDAP grant, the $15,000 grant, think about your wish list in terms of your business, or even your list of annoyances of like, oh, I wish we could update these laptops for our employees. I wish we could implement this software, but the subscription price is really high and I don't want to take on this additional cost. Think about your wish list for your IT, for your digital marketing, and we can bake that into your CDAP plan. I'll tell you more about that soon. So basically, CDAP comes in two different flavors. There's the Grow Your Business Grant, which is really geared for smaller businesses and more for business to consumer businesses, and it's a $2,400 grant. And there's the Boost Your Business Technology Grant, which is the more well-known one. And for that one, you have to have a revenue of at least $500,000 to qualify. If you're under, you have to have made $500,000 in revenue in any of the past 3 tax years. So 2022, 2021, or 2020, you have to have hit that mark. You wouldn't have to have made that every year, but one of those years you would have had to make 500K. For Grow Your Business, it's really for any, even very small businesses can qualify. Basically, if you have an HST number in Ontario, or if you've made even at least $30,000, you can qualify for Grow Your Business Online. But there are a lot of limitations on Grow Your Business, on what the money can be used for, and there's a lot of restrictions on who even qualifies. So I'll share more about that, but that's just kind of a high-level overview. So a little more about CDAP. Basically, this is just kind of how the government mandate, how they explain it, but it kind of helps you wrap your head around what the funding can be used for too. So basically, it's all about empowering small business and they connecting small businesses with digital advisors like ourselves. So it's our job to kind of help guide you through the funding process, through the grant process, and also importantly, to help you put together, if you're going for the $15,000 grant, we actually prepare the digital adoption report, which is what the grant covers. So we write the report, we work with you and research and interview you about your business needs and your goals so that the report is relevant for your specific business. And that involves a lot of in-depth interviews, and Larissa can tell you more about that in her portion. We interview and find out what software you're using, what hardware you're using, what do you do for your digital marketing now? How do you take care of cybersecurity, and even any training you might need for your staff. So the idea is it's a fully paid digital adoption plan, and we actually bake in a marketing plan and an SEO plan as part of our digital adoption plans. And the idea, like most small businesses don't have the time, the resources, or the budget to really plan ahead like they should. It's something that can help them move forward. So it's a consulting report, but it also opens up the doors to additional funding, and it can serve as your marketing plan and your technology plan going forward. Because most small businesses, how do we plan for technology? We don't. We go with shiny object syndrome. Oh, that software looks good, I'm going to implement it. Or if we're more thoughtful, we'll bake it into our budget. But this is a great opportunity to actually get a consultant looking at the technology you use, looking at some software that you are considering, giving you additional options and researching other options for you, and actually giving you a plan for your technology and your marketing. And like I said, it's kind of a gateway to getting BDC loan of up to $100,000 interest free. And you can also use it for applying for additional wage subsidies. So why does the government do this? Well, basically, they don't want to give these bigger benefits kind of no strings attached. They're paying for, they also know that businesses don't have the resources to put together a whole big report and plan and strategy. So that's why they cover your plan, they cover the strategy with the grant, and then that opens up the door to these additional you know grants that, well, the $100,000 interest-free loan for 5 years and the grant for the wage subsidy. And plus, we throw in a few bonuses as well that I'll tell you more about later. So again, the difference between Boost Your Business, which is the $15,000 grant, and Grow Your Business. And if you want to put in the chat, just so I focus on the right thing, for the folks on the call. By the way, I don't know if are there more participants that we have to let in? I don't think so. Okay. Addie, feel free to let in anyone that joins. So the difference between Boost Your Business and Grow Your Business. So I think most people are here probably for the larger grant, but I'll probably spend much more time on that. But just so you know about Grow Your Business, it's for a for-profit business. You have to be registered or incorporated, and it's really for more consumer-facing businesses. So, catering business, delivery service, restaurant, retail store. It could be an accounting firm that deals with consumers. It could be a law firm. You have to have at least one employee other than the owner. But if you don't have an employee, they also have a lot of different ways you can qualify. So even if you have no employees, you're just a sole proprietor and you're not on payroll, if you have at least $30,000 in annual revenue, you will qualify for this grant. Then flipping over to the Boost Your Business, it's a bigger grant, but they are looking for bigger businesses as well to qualify for this. So for this one, you can be a B2B business or a B2C business. So just to give you guys an idea, for most of the businesses that we got CDAP grants for so far, most of them have been B2B businesses. So we've had law firms, a B2C law firm, who's an estate planning lawyer. We've had a software company, which is more of a B2B business. Who else have we had, Larissa?
Oh gosh, we've had businesses who specialize in immigration, finance, and business visas. We've had businesses who focus on shift work within the personal service care industry. Quite a few very varied one, right? So actually, quite a few B2B clients.
Yeah, for Boost Your Business, we've had more B2B clients, but that's not to say that I've also had at least 2 B2C clients qualify for Boost Your Business. So the qualifications for that is at least 1 to 500 employees. So if you're a sole proprietor and you have a $500,000 or more business, you can still qualify for Boost Your Business, but you would have to be on the payroll of your business. The having at least 500,000 revenue I mentioned in the last tax years. And just to kind of dive deep into each one, back to Grow Your Business, again, a for-profit business, registered and incorporated, at least 30,000 in annual revenue, or having one employee. There's also a list of businesses who are not eligible for the Grow Your Business. So they don't want corporate chains or franchises. They don't want registered charities. There's a lot of other government programs to support these kind of organizations, as well. No multi-level marketing, real estate agents, insurance agents, and mortgage agents where they're working for brokerages also wouldn't qualify, along with investment advisors. So I know there's some areas where, if you're an independent financial planner, or if you can, position yourself as not someone on this list of exclusions, you might be able to qualify for Boost Your Business. But it's really, the examples given on the government website are things like retail stores, restaurants, and helping them incorporate e-commerce into their business. That's kind of what the grant would cover. So they're really focusing on B2C for grow your business. And the whole idea is, like I mentioned, helping businesses get online, get e-commerce on their website, boost their sales, maybe adopting security software on their website, improving their social media so that they can sell more products and services, and basically improving the user experience for online customers. So an example can be like, a catering company who can start offering their catering packages online and letting people pay online. So stuff like that. Or a company that's, a store that can start putting their products on sale through e-commerce. So things like that. That's more for what Grow Your Business is all about. So eligible expenses, like I mentioned, adding e-commerce to an existing website. You're not supposed to redesign a website unless it has to do with adding e-commerce. Hiring a consultant, such as Napkin, to help with digital marketing strategies for an existing e-commerce store. So maybe social media services that, again, towards the goal of selling more products or services. So they say everything has to be kind of tied to e-commerce. So it can't just be random social media promoting your business. It has to be like, and how we would get around that is making sure that any social media would be like promoting specific products, or making sure the call to action on any ad would be like the purchase now, right? So it also covers 20% of hardware and softwares for non-e-commerce things. So that's kind of grow your business. And I think most people here, and there's a whole list of things that they're saying we will not cover, overhead type expenses like your internet connectivity, the owner's salary, logo redesign. They really want the grant to cover specifically e-commerce related items or things that are going to automate the business. So I think most of you are here for, I'm going to breeze through this part a little bit, but these are just some of the items we ask people to have on hand. If you are applying for Grow Your Business, you need to have, when we're doing the application process, and by the way, the business has to apply. We do handhold quite a bit. So sometimes if you're applying, sometimes we can join a Zoom call with you. And thank you, Addie, for putting that additional information in the chat. So you can, these are just some of the things you'll have on hand. And sometimes businesses do find this documentation a little bit hard to locate, like your master business license from when you originally registered your business, or your articles of incorporation, HST return from the CRA, that kind of thing. You also need an estimate from a CDAP advisor from us, or if any other CDAP advisor you're working with, for the services that you want the grant to cover. And you need some kind of written description. It's usually like maybe 300 to 500 word paragraph of, why you need this funding and how it's going to help your business. So for example, I'm going to add, a scheduler form or a booking form on my website to let people book and pay for an appointment online, right? And a business void check. A lot of business owners have trouble finding their business void check, but you can usually get it on your online banking. And you apply for this on the ISED site, which is linked here. And I think, Addie, if you can put that in the chat as well, then this is a website you should get to know. So when you are ready to apply, either for Boost Your Business or Grow Your Business, you would be going through the CDAP website. And there's an online portal through which you apply. And then once you are in the application process, you actually can get approved right away, right when you're applying. If you're working with us, there's a section, a step in the application where you choose your CDAP advisor. And then when you're in the portal, basically you would select Napkin as your CDAP advisor. And then we would, you usually get your approval at the same time instantly when you're applying. And then once you get your approval, you kind of forward that to us. And then we work with you on actually implementing whatever you got approved for. So I'll explain more about that later in the steps. So most of you are here, I think, are here to learn about Boost Your Business, which is the $15,000 grant. For this one, you need to be an incorporated business or a resident sole proprietor. So we actually have had sole proprietor businesses approved on CDAP for this grant as well. So if you are still sole proprietor for whatever, for tax reasons, and you're not incorporated, but you meet the revenue criteria, I would definitely still encourage you to apply. You don't have to have employees. As long as you're an employee on the payroll as an owner, you can still qualify for Boost Your Business. So it's very, very flexible, B2C or B2B. And really we've, I'm happy to say that everyone who's applied with us has gotten approval for the grant so far. So sometimes they've had to wait a week or wait, 2 weeks max to get their approval, but for the most part, there's still funding available. And even business owners with more than one business have been able to get grants for multiple businesses. So it's very, very flexible right now, and I do encourage everyone to apply. So the idea is it covers a lot more things than grow your business. So the idea of Boost Your Business is helping businesses reduce some of their overhead costs, speed up their transaction, automate their business more, implement software or marketing that's going to really take their business to the next level. And they also really emphasize anything that might help you on the back end, like helping you manage your inventory more efficiently, helping you manage your software more efficiently, supply chain for manufacturing. That would definitely get covered by the later financing. And that's also supposed to be what CDAP is designed to help with the Boost Your Business. So eligible costs. So basically, ostensibly, the $15,000 grant covers a digital adoption plan. So the digital adoption plan, and I'll go into what is included. It's a very comprehensive report. It's a pretty lengthy report, and it goes deep dive into all the technology you use in your business, and can also, like our plans, really cover the marketing. So it's basically a technology and marketing plan. So once the report it works on a reimbursement basis. So basically once you get approval for the grant, so you would apply on the government portal for the grant, and we help you with the steps of applying. You get approval. At that point, our working relationship would start. So we would need a deposit from you. We would get started and write the whole report for you. And then once the report is completed, paid for, you can submit it to submit the report and submit the paid invoice to the government portal, and you get reimbursed for 90% of the cost within 30 days. So the bonuses, like I said, this is kind of a gateway program. So once you submit that, once you get reimbursed, that report is 90% paid for. We also include some marketing services in adjunct to the report. So you don't just get a report, you also get some, and I'll talk more about that later. And it also opens the door to the BDC funding and the wage subsidy. So this is just some of the steps you would need to apply. And it doesn't cost anything to apply. You can apply just to see if you qualify, and you can decide what you want to do from there. But these are just some of the kind of things you might need to have on hand to apply. There's a questionnaire that we give you in advance, so the application process is kind of shorter and pain-free. So you can expect to see something like this. If that opens for me right away. So you would get, it's a 40, it's basically a 40 question questionnaire, and excuse this, it's just the draft version, so we have to fix that up. But it'll ask you to rate your digital marketing efforts from a 1 to a 5. Like 1 that you're basically not doing any digital marketing. 5, you're really doing comprehensive, like corporate level, enterprise level digital marketing. You have a plan. And the idea is that they'll ask you about your digital marketing. They'll ask you what kind of online access you're providing your customers. What kind of cybersecurity do you have in your business? What kind of privacy policies do you have in your business? And the idea here is to kind of ascertain where you're at with different aspects of your technology. And then in the report, like what you'll actually need help with, right? So the idea is like once you fill this out on the government portal, and you can fill it out in advance, do it on the government portal to save you lots of time. It gives you kind of a score and a report. So it tells you like, okay, you scored a 1.5 out of 4, or you scored a 2.5. That number's used to determine 2 things. Number 1 is, will you get approved for the grant or not? Most people get approved, but they don't want someone who's at a 5 for every aspect of technology in their business, because then they don't really need help from the grant. They also don't want someone who's at a 1 and they're completely not ready for any technology because maybe they don't have the staff, or they don't have the resources to implement anything, or they're really tied to like manual and paper-based systems. So they want people who are somewhere in between and need the help. So that's called the Digital Needs Analysis Questionnaire. And based on that questionnaire, they give you a score. And also it helps, it spits out a report and it identifies what areas your report can focus on, what areas your business needs help with. So the next step would be you get approved. So you work with us to actually develop your digital adoption plan. And after the plan is completed, you submit your claim to receive your grant payment and reimbursement. And then we'll go into the BDC loan a bit later. Maybe let's talk about the report first. We'll go back to BDC. So why do you need this report? A lot of businesses ask this, like, what's the point of this report? So again, most businesses don't have the time or the resources to plan ahead, to do a business plan, to do a marketing plan, let alone look at their technology stack, as we call it, and all the software and technology, and planning ahead, budgeting ahead. So it does, it covers that aspect. We also do a competitive review. We look at, perhaps your competitor's website, your competitor's SEO, and we give you recommendations for different technology that you might need. Or you can also identify to us, like, here's the problem areas we have to solve. We want to launch an app, or we want to update our website, or we want to upgrade our computer security. So whatever, we can either recommend areas to focus on, or you can come back to us and just be more collaborative and say, hey, I really want my report to delve into these 3 technology areas, but these are the kind of areas your report will cover. So we analyze, we propose technology and digital marketing upgrades or technology upgrades. And then we also give you a plan, a budget, and a timeline and calendar to implement that. So the government doesn't want just some random report written or someone to write this up in ChatGPT. They really want, they have a specific format that they want followed. So this is basically the format of the digital adoption plan. And Larissa, let me hand it over to you because you're the one who hands-on works on these. And as you can see, they're quite lengthy. This is from one of our clients that we just finished a plan for. So it's at 130 pages. Go ahead, Larissa.
Thank you, Adina. So hi, everybody. Yes, so essentially, as Adina said, this is a very comprehensive report. And the reason for that is in order to be able to recommend technologies as well as marketing solutions, specifically digital marketing solutions that would be best, like the best fit for your business, we really have to do a deep dive into what are your business processes, what are your goals, which implementations would be mission critical to actually improve your business and help you reach those goals. And the government mandate is very specific around particular things that they look at, like cybersecurity. So recently, the government rolled out the Cybersecure Canada program. So that's quite important in order to show that, if there are gaps in your business's cybersecurity, like let's say you're using open source software, we would need to then, research and recommend, real like premium business suite, cybersecurity software, anti-malware software in the report. We also look at your digital marketing landscape. So we want to see, how does your business perform online? What sort of traffic do you receive on your website? What is your SEO ranking? What is your website speed? And based upon that, we can then actually provide you with, let's call it a sample marketing plan, in order to improve those areas of your business. And we put all of that together. We put together a budget for you in order to implement our recommendations, and we build a implementation roadmap out for you as well. In addition to that, we do a SWOT analysis. We look at your competitors and what are they doing, and what are some of the software, hardware, marketing that they might be doing that we could recommend to you as well. We look at different steps of implementation. So everything from consultation to setup, to training, to implementing hardware and software, to tracking, to organic and paid social, or whatever, you know, the particular marketing plan we might recommend to you would be. So you really have it laid out for you step by step. You want to go to the next slide? Yeah, can go ahead.
Even some of the things that can be covered in this plan that a lot of small businesses, I know, because I work with small businesses and entrepreneurs every day, most people don't have the chance to plan ahead, and they're being reactive instead of proactive. So this is an actual opportunity to be proactive on some of the technology things that you know you're going to have to implement over the next year or two. So things like even making your website friendly for people with disabilities. There's a whole protocol now for making your website disabled friendly, to make it, you know, from font sizes to being able to read aloud certain sections. So if you're serving, you know, an aging demographic, or if you're serving a population that's impacted by, you know, healthcare challenges, you'll want to really make sure, or if you're in the healthcare field, you definitely want to make sure that you have those protocols in place in your website. And that's the kind of stuff we can recommend and kind of research to do in the report, research a plan for you to do that, research what software you need to add to your website, or what plugins you need to add to your website. Even cybersecurity is a huge, huge challenge for most businesses. There's ransomware attacks right now, there's hacking. It's a concern for all businesses with a website or with any, you know, confidential data that they're storing. I'm talking about law firms, accounting firms. Everybody's got to think about keeping their customer data secure and, you know, protected from all the hackers out there. So again, here's an opportunity to get ahead on that and to get some recommendations of what software needs to be implemented for that. SEO, you know, if you're not happy with your position on Google, here's a chance to, you know, normally we would charge sometimes $3,000 to $5,000 just for a marketing and SEO audit, right? So, and this is an opportunity to kind of get that covered and have a roadmap for your marketing and SEO. So, and this is kind of, these are just some excerpts from the reports we do. I don't know if you, I think you have an excerpt as well, Larissa, that we were sharing with someone with, you know, obviously with the confidential information blocked out. If you want to pull that up, I think that might be useful for people to see. But yeah, and because Larissa has, you know, her agency and marketing background, she's also puts in a lot of specific marketing recommendations, just how, you know, sometimes with mock-ups like this, of how companies can update their website, or what they should be adding or changing on their website. And she gets, you want to talk about, because you get pretty specific with that sometimes with the reports.
Yeah, so it's really individual. It depends on what your business is, you know, which market that you're serving, and we look at different opportunities in terms of, you know, where you can actually reach them. So here's an example where we have a company in the finance and investment industry, and we recommend to them, you know, thought leadership avenues in terms of connecting with their audience and building their brand. And we provide recommendations that include things like a CRM strategy, technology, putting out newsletters, segmenting those newsletters. We tie that back into the software recommendations and the vendors that we suggest. We'll create mock-ups for them to actually give them an idea of, if you host an online webinar, as an example, like we're doing today, how would you then, promote that online? What would that content look like? And this is a mock-up that I created. Of course, I just changed things to make it anonymous. But essentially, this builds back into the recommendation of you should be doing webinars, you should be doing newsletters. This is how it would work. Here are examples of how you can segment your audience, and we actually provide those visuals for you as well. So it's not just all 130 pages of pure text.
Yeah, and by the way, when we do finish the report, we also make a presentation to your team of the marketing recommendations, the SEO, so you don't have to wade through all of the text, although the written report has to be submitted to the government. But we also, because we do try to make the report relevant and actionable, so we also give you a presentation at the end. And the clients are involved all the way through, because there are, I think, at least 2 or 3 interviews Larissa usually has to do to get all the information about the business to do the report. And do you want to tell them a little bit about the appendices as well?
Yes. So as you saw earlier, we do include a lot of data in the report. So we do a lot of analytics around your website performance. We do an SEO keyword analysis. We look at your current keywords. We pull up recommended keywords for you. We do a website speed test. We do a cybersecurity report, and we include all of that in the appendix. The DNA report, that's your digital needs analysis report, that would come from your online assessment as part of your application, and that's also attached to the report. If we engage directly with vendors, we'll often include an RFP that we received, so that we can actually tie that back into budgeted cost estimate that we include in your implementation budget. So it's really baked into your report. We reference it in the body as well as attach it in the appendix for you as well. So it's all there. And yeah, as it says here, you have obviously your hardware and software recommendations, you have your marketing recommendations. Vendor neutrality is a requirement as per the government. So we will have, 3 or sometimes 4 vendors that we would look at. We also reach out to managed IT service vendors who could potentially help you implement the hardware and software adoptions. We provide all of their details as well. We showed you the SWOT analysis. We'll include an org chart, the Gantt chart to show how these implementations would roll out. And we also put up a kind of a cost estimate budget based upon the recommendations. So we get quite granular in terms of each of the software vendors and sometimes hardware, if applicable, that go into a recommendation, as well as what that cost is per vendor. And then we take that information and we create like a cost estimate in the report as well. So that would give the government an idea of, should you apply for the BDC loan, as an example, this is what you're looking at spending, and this is what justifies that spend.
Yeah, perfect. If anybody has any questions so far, just feel free to put it in the chat. So as you understand, as we've explained, the report itself, we try to make it really actionable, really customized and specific, so that it's kind of like it's kind of a business plan, but a technology-oriented business plan, essentially. And you can plan also your 2024 budgeting around that as well. So how long does it take to do all this, and what's the timeline? So like I said, this is kind of just a little visual of how the process goes. So the first step is we give, you talk to us so that we can give you an estimate for writing the report. You don't pay us anything until you actually get an approval from the grant. So we just provide you a written estimate, so you know kind of what the costs are and what you'd be responsible for, because we just believe in full transparency with that. But it's essentially what I'll share with you a little bit more on the cost on another slide. The next step is you would actually apply for the grant on the ISDE website, and we also wait till you get approval. Once you get approval, only then would you be paying a deposit. And we just ask for a deposit to get the whole report started. You'd select us on the government website, and then we start the whole report process. So it starts with an interview and a questionnaire, working with Larissa on that. We prepare a first draft of the report, and then you review the report. We prepare a second draft, and then once the report is complete, you submit it back on the government website. You already would have received the grant approval, but this is just another step with, really, it's a grant reimbursement. So once you've been approved, you will get reimbursed, but they just go through a process where they validate the report, and someone in the ISDE does review the report, make sure they meet all the criteria that we already follow. And sometimes, we have had sometimes when people have come back and they said, oh, you're missing this page. But most of the time they just get reimbursed and approved. And the government has a 30-day SLA kind of that they have for reimbursement. So most grants will get reimbursed within 30 days of submission, but in order to submit it, you just need the paid invoice and the full report done. So that's kind of how the timeline works. We usually need about 3 or 4 weeks just to prepare the report, and then it's just 30 days to get the reimbursement. So some people ask me what mistakes businesses make when they're applying. So main mistake is just kind of being afraid to apply or worried that your business won't qualify. Like I said, we've had everyone qualify so far. Not having kind of the critical documents on hand. So sometimes people are missing that void check for their business, or sometimes their accountant does all their tax work, so they don't have that CRA login. So as long as you kind of follow that checklist, which for the most part, you just need a photo, government ID, your bank account info, and a void check, and you need your CRA, My Business login, and your business banking login. As long as you had that, the application process goes really smoothly. Not doing that DNA quiz in advance with the 40 questions, that saves you loads of time, because basically if that's completed, your application shouldn't take more than 30 or 45 minutes. If you can do that in advance, it takes about maybe half an hour to an hour to complete that quiz. And you can also, have someone on your team complete it for you if they're knowledgeable about your IT. We also encourage making any IT people or marketing people already on your team, or any key decision makers on IT or marketing, make them part of the CDAP process, because they're really the ones on your team who can come up with that wish list of what changes do you need, or what's on their wish list in terms of technology upgrades, and making that part of the report and the recommendations. So get them involved in the process, get their wish list. And also, if you do have more than one business, you can apply for more than one business for the grant. You can also apply for the Boost Your Business and Grow Your Business if you want to kind of max those out. So you are allowed to do that if you qualify for both, which means you're probably a B2C business. So the difference with working with us is like you've seen so far, we really do a very detailed job of the report. We really make it actionable, and because we're a digital marketing agency, we dive deep into the SEO and the digital marketing and the website, which is what I think most businesses really appreciate when working with us, is they need help on the digital marketing side. And this is a chance for them to really get kind of an in-depth strategy and thought put into that. We also provide some services credit and preferred pricing for our own services if you work with us on CDAP. So what some clients, even though we charge for the CDAP, we also provide about $2,500 in services credit for marketing services with working with us. So you might want to apply that for a website update, upgrading pages of your website. You might want to apply that for, a month of SEO or a month of Google Ads management. So it's up to you how you want to apply, that services credit. Some examples below are some companies are doing an SEO upgrade, or some companies are having us set up a lead gen campaign. it would cover a month of SEO or a month of Google Ads management, website updating, email marketing, social media management. So it's really up to you how you want to use that services credit, but it's done as a separate project outside the CDAP. But basically, we offer a credit. And this is kind of our full spectrum of services that you can use that credit for, anything from updating your website to updating your SEO, maybe helping with Google reviews or your Google ads, or even with an email marketing campaign or social media. So this is, I didn't mean to skip over that, but if you do want to work with us on just regular marketing programs outside of CDAP, this is just kind of the pricing structure we have. We have 3 different packages: the basic, growth, or accelerator. And basically how I explain this to people in regular terms is you're getting a bucket of hours of our team's hours. So depending on what you need or what you want to focus on or what your budget is, it can be anything from 25 hours, 35 hours, 50 hours. We have clients where they're doing 100 hours a month, and we're basically acting as their in-house marketing team. And we can be focusing on whatever your priorities are, anything from SEO to Google Ads management to a website redesign, social media, email marketing. Our services can really cover, a very distinct, specific project or a comprehensive, full service marketing for your company, depending on the size of your company and depending on your needs and your budget. So that's what it's like kind of working with us outside of CDAP. And a lot of our kind of regular marketing clients are getting CDAPs, and CDAP clients are becoming marketing clients. So just so you know about how that works. And how do you get started with CDAP? Basically, set up an appointment with me. I think, Addie, if you can put the appointment link in the chat for the calendar appointment, we would fill out the DNA questionnaire, and then we would set up an application Zoom call. So you do have to do the application yourself, but sometimes because of the requirements can be a little bit onerous if you've never gone through the process, we'll sit in on the Zoom call while you apply and just help you with any, of the steps that you might need. But basically, as long as you have your ID on hand, you have your CRA login, it's pretty doable. And we have had clients just complete the whole grant application online themselves on their own time. If you feel comfortable doing that, that's totally okay. You would just get your approval by yourself. And then the next step would be selecting Napkin as your CDAP advisor if you want to work with us. You sign your grant agreement via the portal. And then once you get that, then we would, you would start working with us. We would start working on your plan, get the deposit and all of that. And we also do a kickoff call when we start. So, so just to clarify this, you do get the grant approval immediately. Sometimes the system will say, oh, we need to evaluate that. But we have had everyone approved so far. And then you get your grant reimbursement after the report is complete. But you do get your grant approval at the start, and there's no money due until you get approved, because we only want to work with clients who are approved at the beginning. So how the pricing works, basically, we charge $14,850 for the report plus HST. You get 90% of that reimbursed. So I think it works out to basically about $1,400-ish out of pocket. I can get that exact number for you. There's a 25% deposit and then 25% after the first draft is complete. And then the balance is due when we finally submit the report to the government portal after the report is finally complete. We can restructure some of these payments if you want to talk with us and, make a different structure that works for you. But as long as basically the report is paid for when we're finally submitting it for reimbursement, we're pretty flexible on this. And again, what this doesn't cover is we do the services credit in parallel to this. It's not included in your CDAP, but we do that as a subsequent project or a parallel project. And these are just some of the resources you might need to kind of move forward on your CDAP plan. Definitely on the ISCD site, this is where all of the official information is and where you apply, doing the pre-application DNA questionnaire. And also, you know, and obviously the next step, you can go on the, I think, can I get out of full screen here? If you go on the Napkin website, I can show you how to make an appointment with me, or just click the link that Addie put. But we have a lot of information as well on CDAP. You can make an appointment on the book your appointment page here, and we can move forward. But definitely, I just encourage everyone to apply. It's kind of a no-lose situation because, like I said, you know, we haven't had anyone rejected yet. I did want to share a little bit about the BDC loan process. If you guys want to stick around for that, I can share. But basically, nowadays, getting an interest-free loan is almost unheard of. How the BDC loan works is once you finish your CDAP report, you get a special link to apply for the BDC loan. So it's a 6-year loan, and 5 years is completely interest-free. You also don't have to do any payments for the first year. So once the first year is done, you do have to pay back the loan, but you're basically just paying back the capital, not the interest. So let me explain kind of how that works. Basically, what people qualify for, if your business is between 500 to 5 million a year in revenue, you would qualify for a loan between 25K and 50K. There is a process to qualify, so just having a CDAP report doesn't mean you'll automatically get the loan. They do a credit check and a credit worthiness, and they do their own validation, but a CDAP report is required to get the loan. If your business is larger than 5 million a year, they have loans between 25K and 100K. But basically, if you qualify for the CDAP, you should qualify for the, at least on the 25K BDC loan. So they do look at your financials, but the CDAP report is a requirement. And this is just some of the steps to get the BDC loan. The digital adoption plan you already know about, and then applying for the loan, and then BDC kind of has their process where they evaluate the request, but they are pretty on board with approving people for this once they have the CDAP. And then you can use the loan for anything that's written up in your CDAP plan. So if you've got, you know, marketing, a plan in your CDAP, if you've got IT equipment mentioned and recommended in your CDAP, additional services, CRM software, anything that's in your CDAP plan can be covered by the BDC loan. They also they don't collect your receipts, so they're not going to check whether every single thing you're spending the loan money for is they're not going to validate here, and they do officially say that, so they don't look for proof of expenditure. So I think this is done a bit on the honor system, but basically they do look for the digital report. So that's kind of a bit about that. I think the only thing I didn't mention was the wage subsidy. I don't know if we've got a page on that, Larissa. Basically,
we don't have a separate page on that, but we did mention a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I'll tell you quickly, just because I know about it. $7,300. It covers hiring a youth between 18 and 30, or a graduate from the past 2 years. And basically, it's a separate government program that you apply for. Again, once you have the CDAP, you're kind of pre-qualified for this program, and then you can have a youth working for you, and $7,300 of their wages covered through that program. And that's through another organization called Magnet. So I think maybe in the next webinar we can have a slide about that. But basically, that's kind of the big and deep overview on CDAP. If anybody has any questions, happy to open it up to questions for now. And if you're still on the call, feel free to, I also love to know how we're doing with these webinars. This is the second one we've done. So if you want to rate us and me, Larissa, Addie, from a 1 to 5, 1 being, terrible, to 5, saying this, that you've learned a lot here. This has been of value to you. We really want to make sure we're providing value here. Whether you work with us, we're not the only CDAP advisor. We're far from the only one. But so whether you work with us or not, we want to make sure that you really have the knowledge and resources in place so that you can make the right decision and whether this is right for your business. So feel free to put any comments in the chat or put any questions. Or
I see Sarush has asked a question in the Q&A.
Oh, okay. Not even see the Q&A. Can the grant be applied to expenses incurred in the past? That is a good question. I think it has to be like anything after the CDAP report is done. So I don't think they are retroactive. But that's actually a great question. I would say, based on what I know, because you have there, the whole point of the CDAP is creating a budget for going forward. I would say anything after the CDAP plan is written is up for reimbursement, but it's probably not retroactive. But however, if you work in, what I would say is, if you were in that situation, let's say before the CDAP plan, you would spend, I don't know, 5,000 for a website or something. And then, you could potentially, if that website upgrades as part of your CDAP plan, I mean, you could potentially just use the BDC funding to cover what you spent and kind of reimburse yourself for that. So I think there's no way for them to prevent that. So potentially, but for the most part, it's designed to cover going forward expenses. If we pay you almost 15K to prepare the reports and receive a 24-hour credit, then we receive, and then yes, that's correct. So basically, you would pay us, you would get 90% of the 15K reimbursed. So I think you would get at least like 13,500 or 13,700 if somebody wants to work out that 90% for me. You would get 90% reimbursed, plus you get the 25-hour credit, and then you get the 15,000 back from the government. So yeah, you got that right, Suresh. Yeah, and feel free if you want to discuss your particular situation, set up a call with me and happy to help. And so thank you again, guys. Thanks for keeping us on time. Oh, I think you had a follow-up there. If we handle our digital marketing in-house and engage with another agency, would there be no advantage to us in that case? No, you could work with another agency and have us write the CDAP. We could even recommend that agency. So you don't necessarily, that's a great question. You totally don't have to, it is vendor neutral. You don't have to work with us. You can still work with your other agency and have the BDC funding cover their services. So, so definitely you could do that. We could kind of recommend that agency as one of the vendors in the CDAP. And then if you get the BDC funding after that, some of their services can be covered as the BDC expense. So hope that makes sense, Suresh. Yeah, so thanks again, everybody, and great to meet with you today, and feel free to follow up to move forward. Okay, have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.